Business software is everywhere. You see ads running on YouTube that tell you how amazing some tool is, how it can magically solve all your business problems. You are tempted to sign up thinking what else in the world could help turn all this chaos, service delivery, project management, customer billing, into something structured and clear, something that will finally help me grow into the company I want to become. So you subscribe. You start setting up the tool and you are more excited than ever. You tell your team about it, and while they're supportive, deep down they're thinking, great, another thing to update while we're already buried in work. But seeing your excitement, they figure it might actually help, and they say they're looking forward to using it in the upcoming days. A week goes by, the team's still adopting, not everyone remembers to log in, but since you're optimistic, you check in with them and offer help. They respond, all good, we've just got a lot on our plates, we'll start using it more next week. Another week passes. There is an emergency with a project, so everyone's heads down trying to put out the fire. The new software? No time for that right now. The data's still not updated and the team hasn't logged in again. You're losing patience. You tell yourself, okay, I'll take control of this next week. I'll make sure everyone starts using it. I know this thing can change how we work. Then a month goes by. Now you've got sales, accounting, legal tasks, all piling up on your desk, and only you can handle them. You know you will get to that software, just not today, not this week, maybe not even this month. Still, you keep subscription going, months after months. Every time you think about it, there is little voice in your head reminding you of the potential. How much better things could be if only you and your team actually used it. And that's the journey of most of us, business owners who constantly ask ourselves, how can we operate better? We believe a new piece of software might be the fix because that's what all the ads promise. And hey, if this happens with a cheap piece of software, no big deal. You can walk away. But what if I told you that some business owners spend tens of thousands of dollars on subscriptions only to realize a year later that nothing really changed? That's a painful lesson. But here is the thing, you don't have to go through this experience yourself to realize there is a smarter way to adopt and deploy new systems. That's what this video is about. I want to walk you through the main misconceptions about business software and show you a better way to adopt almost any tool into your operation successfully. The first misconception, software will fix it. Most of the time, the reason we go looking for business software is pain. It's missed deadlines, team members falling behind on tasks, departments not talking to each other, invoicing delays, accounts receivable drowning in work. Software promises to make it all go away, but no ad will ever tell you that just subscribing doesn't fix a thing. And we know this. Think about your gym membership. How many times did you go to the gym last week? Sometimes that membership just sits there unused for months. But somehow when we look at business software, we forget this simple truth. Subscriptions don't solve problems. People do. Another common misconception, features drive results. You land on a software website and see all these shiny features. You start imagining how each one could work in your business and your excitement grows. Then come AI features and it's mind-blowing. It looks like this tool could do half of your job for you. But while you're distracted by all this bells and whistles, you forget to ask the most important question. Do we actually need this? And even more importantly, will we actually use this? The reality, most companies only use about 30% of the features in any software. And a good chunk of the ones that got you excited in the first place, your team won't even touch them. Because the features that make you buy the software aren't always the features that your team needs to use. Before we get into the approach that works, let me just say this. Even the best software collects dust if no one uses it. And it doesn't matter how expensive it is, it doesn't matter how powerful it is, it doesn't matter what the sales rep promised you. If your team isn't using it, your investment will quietly die. The way to prevent this? Ask two simple questions. Why does my team need this tool? And how will they use it in their day-to-day work? Those two questions shift your thinking because, let's be honest, it's not the software that drives change. It's your people. So let's reframe it. How can we help our team operate better than ever before? So What actually works? Let me break this down into 4 key parts based on what I've seen work across dozens of client projects. Let's start with where things usually begin. When you're searching for a new software, it's not just because something feels broken. It's because something deeper isn't working the way it should. You are feeling friction in how your team executes certain tasks, and where there is friction, there's usually a process behind it that needs fixing. That's why we don't start with the software. We start with the processes. Because software at the end of the day is just a tool. If the process underneath it is messy, unclear, or broken, no tool in the world will help. So instead of asking what tool should we use, ask what process needs attention. Start there, fix that. Understanding the full process gives you context. You start seeing how pieces connect, what steps are missing, where the real bottlenecks are, and that clarity changes everything. But the thing is, clarity alone isn't enough. Once you see the big picture, it's tempting to want to fix everything at once. You feel like you've uncovered the whole mess, and now you want it all clean and working by next week. That's a common trap. This is where most companies go wrong. They try to change too much, too fast. They want the new software to touch every department, solve every problem, and improve everything right out of the gate. That's why it's so important to start small, really small. Pick 1 or 2 high priority processes, get them running smoothly in the new tool, test, tweak, and improve. Only after that, move the next ones. This way you're not just rolling something out, you're actually building something that sticks. The one word here is focus. And speaking of focus, there is another area where it makes or breaks the whole project, and it's user adoption. Even the best software collects dust. Yeah, and I'm saying it again because it is that important. You have to involve your team from the start. Let them know what's coming. Explain why you're doing it, show them how it will help. Not just you, but them. Bring them into the conversation. Let them share their concerns, suggestions, frustrations. This makes a massive difference. And when it comes to actually showing what's changing, I found that process diagrams work wonders. They help everyone visualize what's going to change, what stays the same, and what steps are affected. It turns a confusing tech rollout into a clear plan people can understand and follow. Now, if we're talking about getting people on board, there is one group you need to start with, and it's your leadership team, your managers, the people who are responsible for making sure the work gets done and the processes run smoothly. Train them first, make sure they know the tool, make sure they understand how it supports the process they're responsible for. Make sure they can actually use it themselves. Because if the people leading the work aren't using the tool, the rest of the team won't either. But if they are, your chances of success go way up. To wrap it all up, wasting money on software isn't your core problem. It's just a result of not having the right structure, of skipping the processes, of focusing too much on features and not enough on your people. But here is the good news. If you are recognizing this now, you are already one step ahead. Because your company is growing, you are not just trying to get by. You are building something that attracts new capital opportunities, new partners, even acquisition offers, something that brings you long-term vision to life. To get there, your operations can't be a distraction. They need to be your foundation. And there are 2 ways to make that happen. You can do it yourself, and I get that, it's tough, trying to manage the business while fixing the way it runs. Not easy, but it is possible. That's why I started this channel, to give you tools, insights, ideas, anything I can to help you on that journey. Or if you want a shortcut, you can let me and my team help you. Yes, it's an investment, but if your time is valuable and if you want to move faster, it might be one of the smartest decisions you make in your company. And we've helped dozens of business owners turn chaos into clarity, messy workflows into streamlined machines, and we would love to do the same for you. Either way, the choice is yours, and whichever path you take, I'll be right here with more videos, more ideas, and more support. If you want to chat, check the link in the description below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and enjoy the process.